Hi. Hello.
Okay.
All right.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the 5 to 9 podcast. Give our little spiel. What's 5 to 9?
A 5 to 9 is a podcast about creators for creators living their 5 to 9 life.
Yeah. Today we have Pat K with us at Pat_K.
Yo. Hi. What's up?
Thanks for coming on board today, Pat, and chatting to us. Glad that you're here.
Yes. It's super excited to be here. My first podcast. So this will be really interesting.
Yeah. Well, let's just start by telling us who you are and what you do.
Yeah. So I'm Pat. I'm a photographer and I guess blogger / I don't know.
So many titles now.
So many titles,
Say
yeah. So many
creator.
hyphens. And all that
Content
kind of
creator.
stuff.
Are you
Yeah.
a content creator?
Maybe content creator, but then like even that's getting a bit played out now. It's like whatever.
Influencer.
I do all the things.
Okay.
All the creative things, and I'm based in Sydney. Yeah.
Nice. Photography is not your full-time thing, I guess. So
No. Much to most people's lack of knowledge, I guess.
yeah.
I've been doing UX and product design for like almost 10 years.
Wow. Okay.
So photography and all things that are not design related are for me like a brand new like venture into a different side of creativity. So
How long have you been doing photography for? Roughly.
And how did you get started?
This year will be my 4th year.
It's been that long, eh?
Really?
It's been that long.
I-
Yeah.
I still remember that when you're like, last year was when I started, but now it's already 3 years after that.
When people asked us, I was like, yeah, like I started 3 years ago. It's
Yeah.
like, it's been like 6.
Time flies, huh?
Yeah.
Because like the first time we met was at that night photography workshop that Gareth and I ran.
Yeah.
And then you came to it.
That
And
was a long time
that was
ago.
the first. Yeah, but it didn't feel like it was that long ago.
Nah.
It feels pretty recent.
I mean-
like when we met.
Yeah.
Me and you, it's been a while. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's
then-
been 3 years.
I remember
Crazy.
taking that photo with all the fairy lights, and you were holding onto it or something at the top of the car park.
Yep.
We can show
At
you
Goldman
guys
Street.
the photo. Yeah. But yeah, that was the
That was
first night
fun.
we met.
Yeah. It seems crazy that it was only like, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I guess it was like it's only just started my 4th year, so I get to celebrate my anniversary every Vivid.
Yeah.
Which is like,
That's convenient.
yeah.
I don't know when I started.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, so, it just started my 4th. But yeah, it's already been that long. It's crazy, huh?
Yeah, I think you were on like 800 followers when we met, and you've like obviously in the last 4 years grown to where you are today. That's super cool to see.
Started from like 80 of my friends.
Yeah.
My close friends.
Yeah.
And now over like 110. So it's been pretty quick ride, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
For like everyone I know, you kind of grew the fastest in like the least amount of time.
I think there was a period where you kind of grew from like 10 to 20 in like a week, I think. And
Yeah.
that was super cool to see.
No, you're like, oh, thanks for 1,000, and then like a week later it was like 20,000.
yeah, it's I've had some wins and some luck along the way, so it's been.
Do you remember what your first viral piece was?
First viral piece was actually a shot of the Opera House
I don't know.
with the reflection.
Yeah, with the reflection.
Yeah,
photoshopped on
You're
the
gonna
bottom.
show it over Demas' face.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that went big for a while. That was really cool.
Yeah.
And then what else?
I still see that photo of me at Macquarie Station floating around.
That one still. Yep.
I still see that still getting reposted.
Yeah,
And it's really crazy.
It's really crazy
Yeah.
because it was like 3 years ago.
Yeah,
and
I'm
it's
just like
still-
kneeling.
You can't get that shot anymore. They have like
They have
barricades
barriers now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because of the
really?
metro.
Oh.
Yeah, they've covered it all up, which is...
No more split.
Yeah,
Sad.
and Epping as well. Both. Macquarie and Epping, you can't...
It's like
do
Hong
that.
Kong where there's like
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a glass
I mean,
wall.
they're better for people.
Yeah,
More
safer.
photography, I
Yeah.
guess.
And then you had that Stockton shot, which kind of took you kind of...
Yeah, so the Stockton shot was interesting.
Yeah.
That one got picked up by Instagram.
Yep.
So I was at like, I think it was like 8. No, was it 8? Or was it after 10? Yeah, it was after 10.
Right.
And I copped like 7 or 6
Yeah,
or
and that
7K
was that
from
week you grew from 10 to 20 in like 3 days. Or
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like, whoosh, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So, wild rush.
Yeah.
And from there, there's been like the Hong Kong cross shot. There's been like the Fuji Yoshida like
Yeah.
Mount Fuji shot
Yeah.
in the background. There's been a bunch of others as well. So I've been pretty blessed with some like viral-esque shots.
You
Yeah,
came
that's
in
really
at the
cool.
time that drones came in. I think
Yeah.
that was pretty
Yeah, that
interesting.
too.
Like you did the Stockton one, that was a drone shot, and then you guys traveled to Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And not even like the locals in Hong Kong were kind of doing it at that stage. Not really, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we droned quite a few times. It was so scary when we first did it for the first time, but it was fun to
I bought I was on the pre-order list for the first Mavic.
Yeah.
And I got super, super excited about that. And that was when the whole like drone thing took off for everyone.
Mavic is the one that kicked it off. Pretty
much. And everyone was still like really slow on the pickup.
I mean,
it took me ages to get one.
So
before the Mavic, you had to buy a Phantom, which was massive, and you don't want to carry that around.
I went to Melbourne on that road trip, right?
Yeah.
And then I convinced Chino to buy. Like,
You
he wanted
convinced
to buy it himself. Like, it's not all me, right? But then he bought the Phantom 4,
Right.
which was the Mavic 1 sensor on that big ass Phantom.
Yeah.
And that was a pain to carry around. Then the Mavic came out and like kind of blew up.
And then it exploded everywhere. But at the time, everyone hadn't shot anything.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So
It's still starting.
like any drone shot, just in general,
There were
was
a
like,
few,
oh my god.
Olim and Gab scanner.
Yeah, Oliman and Gatscano. Gab was probably one of the first ones.
Gab
too,
was one of the
sort
first ones.
They had. I think he had the version where it's like the GoPro. You have to like. The
Oh, you have to
early
change.
version.
Yeah,
like the
the
threes and the
Phantom
twos and
3. Yeah. You're kind of into technology a lot, and you love your tech. You love your gear. How did you get into that?
It's an
how did you?
understatement.
Yeah. How do you? Because I mean,
how do I get into that?
we all have gear and we all like gear, but I think you kind of take it to the next level. Like
I like gear more than me and him are closer than.
Yeah, I just kind of use it and
I'm really
use what I have.
I don't know. I've been really close to tech in general.
Yeah.
And so like when it comes to then camera gear, I'm obviously naturally inclined to like camera gear, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think in the past, like I've had like this photography business for me is like my third business, right? So like my second one was like a tech review site type thing.
Right.
So I don't know. I've always had this like real lust for knowing what's at like the cutting edge of tech, and I've had this for like most of my adult life.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people like us.
Yeah. So like I'm super super interested about like what's coming out or like how it works, and breaking things down, and just buying random shit and for it to spectacularly fail, and for you to just be at the forefront. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, and then I think also like not just tech but also coding and websites, because that's part of your job as well a little bit. And
kinda. So I know how to code because I believe in design anyway, especially when it comes to like UX and product.
Yeah.
You should be able to like the best designers know exactly what they're designing for.
Yeah.
So if you don't understand the code or how things are built,
yeah.
Like actually how they're built,
yeah.
Then
What you call them full stack, right? Is that the term? Full stack developers.
Full stack developers is like for people who know how to code front end and back end.
Yeah.
So the front end stuff is the most of the stuff like you see on the internet, for example.
Yeah.
A good example of front end. But then back end is like server stuff, so like where the data is stored and how those things get called up into what you see and all that kind of stuff.
Boring stuff.
Yeah.
Right. I call myself like sometimes a full stack designer in that like
understand both.
Well, I start from academics and I do a lot of research and I do a lot of interviews.
Yeah.
And then I know how to do visual design, I know how to do experience design, but then I also know how to code and build those things as well. So from like, conception to creation.
I think that sort of works in all fields of design. Like I, as an architect as well, you obviously need to know how the stuff is built to build something nice.
Exactly.
And so it's sort of the same sort of
principle
throughout all of design, and you want to understand your craft to the best of your ability to be able to design something nice.
Yeah, exactly. I always tell all of my or like anyone I'm mentoring or any of my juniors to like learn how to code. Because I mean, not only is it good for the job, but like it's the building block of the internet that we all enjoy.
Even kids
what do they learn?
days.
What do they learn to? Which code?
Just basic HTML and CSS. Yeah, that's like what websites are made of or what you see. And
I think kids these days at school are learning how to code. Like we didn't back then, but like I think they're just teaching that sort of next generation that new language, right?
It's really useful. And then once you start thinking in that way, like especially when you start to think about like programmatic coding, you just start to see the world in a different way.
Okay.
You coded your own website, right? What's your website?
Paquet.com.
Yeah.
Plug.
You have a travel.
Come visit.
And you also have a travel blog as well.
So I condensed them all down into one, so it's just patk.com for everything.
Oh, what happened to patk.away?
I just rolled it all into the patk.
Oh, okay, sweet. Okay.
So when you're on, we'll show the website. I can scroll through it. But like, you go to your patk.com and it's like your portfolio. But when you hit blog, it takes you to the blog part, which was patk.away.
Yeah. So then I rolled all the posts from there into just the one site now.
Yep.
Yeah. Just so that like initially, like most of the industry when it comes to travel blogs and stuff like that always have like domains and brands and stuff like that aren't exactly their name. Which I found really interesting, and I was like, I might as well just copy it for now.
Right.
And then eventually was like, maybe I'll just roll this back into my one name because I'm sick of updating
but
two websites.
But away is still your name.
Right. But like more of like a separate thing.
From something
like,
different.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Like as a separate entity, I think it worked really well.
Yeah.
I just got sick of maintaining two websites.
Yeah, right.
Because I like you mentioned, I custom coded everything, so you know it's kind of a lot of overhead for a very little gain.
Yeah. I think also like you're quite a good writer. Like your blog's very like well written, and you post quite often.
That's thoughtful. Mine was
which
like,
is
hi friends.
Like I think like for me, I find it hard to write. As in like my brain, I think is more visual, and like I like pictures rather than text and numbers. I like.
You don't like reading, just say.
I don't enjoy reading. So when I learn stuff, it's always through videos or by doing. I guess. So how did you sort of get into writing, and how did you get into? You also read a lot as well. So.
It's because I guess it comes from like, well, if I'm really bad at it, it comes from school.
Yeah.
In that I like strongly opposed anything school taught me really.
Yeah.
And I didn't go to uni. I didn't go to college or anything like that. Like I flunked out a lot. And it's not that like I was dumb when I was a kid or whatever, but more that
That's
like
some wild days.
Let's
not go into it.
Yeah, right. But also like I just didn't have any like actual motivation to do the things. But when I finished school, I realized that like I needed to start learning how to learn.
Yeah.
And so then I started actually like reading a lot and started to love reading. And I learned more in the first 2 years coming out of high school than I learned in all 12 years of high school.
Yeah.
Right?
You're learning what you want. I think that's important because
but I'm also learning in a way that's like custom and more efficient for me. So like I crammed so much in that like short amount of time.
Yeah.
Because like school doesn't teach you how to learn.
Neither does uni. Like I didn't even show up to uni. I was there maybe 1 hour a week, maybe. Like the thing, or it costs like $30,000 or whatever. But the thing that I learned from uni was that I could do anything because like I still got distinctions and stuff even though I didn't show up. So it's like if I can get a uni degree and like not do anything, like that means I can learn anything. So yeah,
exactly.
You just skip the bill.
100%. And I think for me it was one of the best like life decisions that I made because I came out at the end of it like knowing more than I ever could have learned in uni.
Yeah.
And being in a much better place and having like a 4-year head start from everyone else, right?
Yeah, because
so, like,
everyone's still finishing uni.
Exactly. Yeah. So like not a lot of people like my age can say they've been in a career for almost a decade.
Yeah.
And that makes me feel really like reassured about those life decisions. But
how did you get into like obviously UX and stuff without those qualifications? I guess like because
just studying myself. Because it's the same thing as like doing this whole like photography thing.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like you start with nothing.
Yeah.
And then you're like, what steps do I need to take to get
but
anywhere?
Would a company want to see that piece of paper? Like that like, sort of, I don't know.
The problem with uni is that like they come up with a curriculum and it takes them forever to do it. And then by the time they teach it, like especially something like tech,
it's
moved on
out of date.
5 different steps, right?
Yeah.
But if you're learning to become a doctor, then it's kind of like you need like, nothing really changes. Like,
right.
Yeah.
So but
so,
tech is quick moving.
Yeah. Okay.
And in tech and in anything creative, like any creative field, like especially for when I'm talking to other creators or people who want to study like a creative field.
Yeah.
I also like personally, I'd just skip uni.
Right.
Because you don't actually ever need the piece of paper at the end.
Because you just show a portfolio. Is that right?
You need a good portfolio.
Right.
You need to show that you're actually good at the craft rather than being like, hey, I can follow instructions. Here's my piece of paper.
So does that mean your portfolio was it like stuff you've done for other companies or was it more like...
So
like personal projects and like that kind of stuff?
Yeah, my first portfolio was just all like super embarrassing, like personal projects that I did.
Okay,
Right?
okay.
And you know, I was lucky to start in one of my friends' marketing agencies and got my leg up from there.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like would encourage any creative person when they're getting their start. It's all about what you can make and all about like refining the craft.
Yep.
And then you figure out, okay, what steps do I need to take to reach X goal?
Yep. Yeah.
Whilst I like build the craft.
So would you say that you like what you do is creative in your office? Because what I do in my office, like architecture, people say it's creative, but when you're in office, it doesn't feel creative. Like,
Yeah.
it's like you're just kind of drawing floor plans every day. It's like it's sometimes creative, sometimes it's like, but it's so different to what I did in uni, where you're just like so conceptual. So that's why I guess I drawn towards photography, because then it's sort of like a different side. So is it the same for you, I guess?
Yeah, the same for me. Like, especially for UX and product design, it's less like there is a level of creativity involved.
Yeah.
But the majority of my day is actually, well, when it comes to product design anyway, actually consists of solving problems.
Yeah.
And being in a very abstract, very conceptual level.
Okay.
I spend most of my time on a whiteboard more than I do like in the depths of UI or like visual design or
Right.
anything like that.
Right.
And I'm spending my time like doing concept maps or user journeys or, you know, flows or like drawing boxes and arrows more than I'm ever drawing like a button or like
Gotcha.
anything else, right?
Okay,
Like,
okay.
yeah, it's very conceptual. That's why I'm drawn to photography as well.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, I used to work at a place called Atlassian, and their product was,
What do they do?
so they make software for teams.
Yeah, like Jira, Confluence, stuff like that.
Right.
We use it at our company. Yeah.
Right. Huge,
Yeah.
huge company, you know, Sydney's biggest tech story,
Yeah.
Yeah.
tech darling, etc. But the product in and of itself is kind of bland.
Sounds
Yeah,
boring.
it's very simple. Yeah, you just kind of like,
Well, it's not simple, it's extremely complex.
as in like,
but like,
simple to use and it's bland. Yeah.
right, but
Yeah.
it's bland.
Yeah.
And so trying to solve problems and like create those, you know, a compelling experience for that doesn't excite the creative juices in the way that I wanted it to be excited.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was naturally drawn to photography because of that, right?
I guess also, I mean, for me, architecture takes a long time. So like photography and Instagram is so instant that that's sort of what draws you towards, you know, keep posting, keep creating, keep making.
And the feedback loop is very quick.
Yeah.
Super quick.
Is it quick as well for you, or is it slow in sort of your industry?
No, well, in product, like projects can take, well, especially my place, like they're supposed to be lean.
Yeah.
But some of my projects can take, you know, 6 months to a year,
Yeah,
depending on what it is.
Yeah.
right?
So those does still take time.
Yeah, like depending on the complexity of the problem and depending on what you're building and those kind of things, like they take a long time.
Yeah.
Whereas like, you know, you take a photo.
I don't think I've ever worked on a project that's longer than like 2 weeks.
What about your videos?
Like videos, sure, but like an actual kind of active job and stuff. Like,
but your Japan video you said took 3 months. Like
yeah,
sort
that's
of
on and off.
That's sort of, yeah, okay. Well, an architecture,
Like scope.
a building could. One of our jobs in the office has lasted like 10 years. Hasn't even started building yet.
Right. And sometimes you get really frustrated with that.
I guess,
because
yeah.
you're constantly banging that drum of like working at it every single day. And although you can see like little things move, you're like, oh, this thing is so huge. Like, how do I finish this?
Yeah. Sometimes it doesn't even get built after you've worked so much and doesn't get approval, and then it just doesn't get built. So it's like, you kind of, what did you do the last 10 years?
Yeah, we have that too. So in product design, we take a lot, like a very big experimental approach.
Yeah.
So we build like a hypothesis case, and we're testing constantly through experimentation, trying to validate those hypotheses.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you build things, they just don't go the way you planned, and then you have to like kill it, and that's like all of your work gone, right? And
Yeah.
you're like, ah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, but Instagram stuff is quite personal, so you can push out your own thing. You can do whatever you want, and get that instant sort of
Instagram
like
dopamine
feedback.
hit.
Yeah.
Serotonin, come to me.
The likes, bro.
Okay. So I guess, I don't know, next topic maybe we could talk about like how you found your style and how you found what you enjoy shooting. Like, I guess, like how did you get to where you are today?
How did you build your style? Because I feel like your style, you started it and it kind of spread out. Like a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, went everywhere.
Yeah, because you started with architecture. You started shooting everything, and then you now narrowed yourself to, and not narrowed, but like...
You used to shoot architecture in Sydney.
Yeah, a lot of things. And like, I don't regret that. And if I had to repeat that process, I would do exactly the same thing.
I think
like,
we all started
you posted
that
that
way
look-up shot, and it was like, haha, old pet
Yeah.
cake. That was when you first started. That's the kind of stuff you shoot.
It's like, oh, this is Sydney.
You don't do that anymore, bro.
Yeah. No, so style is a funny thing. I think, and I talked about this on Saturday at Adobe livestream like a couple of months ago, and we talked about like finding your style through post-processing.
Yep.
But, in that I mentioned that, style comes from the very start, like what you're shooting and why you shoot it.
Yep.
And, especially for people who try and like want to find their style.
When they're actively searching for it.
Yeah. I think like the biggest thing is like, it's kind of like traveling. Like you don't know what you don't know until you know it.
Yep.
So like you have to try everything, and you have to be like, oh, I shot this architecture piece. Do I like it? Do I not?
Yeah.
Does this resonate with me? Can I keep posting this? I don't know. Maybe yes, no, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you keep doing that with like every single category until you start to find things that resonate with you.
Yeah.
And the same thing goes with like a visual aesthetic. Like
You just like add heaps of fade to it, like to everything, and then it all looks like style. Or like you make everything blue. Like,
right.
I think those are the people who try and force style.
Yeah.
And like they don't know how to shoot nature because there's greens they've never dealt with greens. And like city shooters, and like the opposite's kind of true as well.
Yeah, and it's not until like you go and try and do that consistently that you learn how to deal with
greens.
Right? Right?
Yeah.
I think like for me now I'm at that point where I'm like, okay, I'm in this like kind of bluish phase.
Oh, you're doing like a themey thing right now, right?
Kinda, but like
you did for a while.
Not even that like themey, right? It's like compared to other people, it's not a lot.
Demas is been doing checkerboard thing.
I do like a light photo, a dark photo, a light photo, a dark photo, but it's very subtle. Like, it's just a way for me to figure out what I should post next, or else I just get really lost. It's like, oh, there's all these options, but I think I just narrow it down to a light photo or a dark photo, and then that's how I just build my feed. So
like at the moment, my feed's all blue, kind of.
But talking about it's grey.
Yeah, for you, man. But I think like whenever people are like, oh, how do you find your style, man? Like you literally just got to experiment.
Yes.
Like I've been through so many different phases of editing, and I think like you guys have seen it, right? Like, and even now on my second account, like I was doing
the black and white for a while.
I was doing black and white for a while. Now I'm doing like warm.
Yeah.
And now I'm thinking of like, oh, should I go to like warm and cool like type thing on my main? Like, and like just gotta be fearless and do it. I
think also like if you were not confident enough to put it on your main account, you can just have a backup account and test it out and like just experiment and have fun with it, and don't put so much pressure on yourself.
What's your short answer that you always give them? Do you reply comments and stuff?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah. So what's
in terms of style?
How do I find my style? Your feed is so
shoot more, edit more, and just like do it every day.
Yeah.
And, like
put the hours in, man. Like I wrote a post the other day on how to grow on Instagram.
Yeah.
And one of the things I wrote about like in the passage was like you don't see the thousands of hours someone has put into like your favorite influencer account, right? Like, your favorite influencer's account looks like X, but you don't see all their plane rides and all the countless late night editing and all that kind of stuff for the thousands of hours, right? Like for me, even like I was explaining this to my colleague the other day who's just getting into photography. Like I shot 500,000 frames in my first couple of years.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people can say that.
Yeah.
Right?
You've seen how I shoot. I burst everything. So
right.
It's like I have like triple the amount of photos you have.
Right. But I don't burst a lot, right?
Yeah.
So, like you just got to put the hours in.
Yeah.
Because until you put the hours in, you don't know what you don't know. Like you think, like a lot of people think they're good in the first like under 10,000 frames that they've shot. But you don't know enough about the world of photography to be able to know, even like start to refine your style or like even know what styles work.
Yeah.
And those kind of
At
things.
the start, you
like,
take a photo and it's the best photo in the world.
Every single photo you take is the best
But, like,
photo, right?
Yeah.
10 years later, you need to look at it and reassess. And like,
and that's the thing. Like I think that statement alone hits the nail on the head. every single shoot you go out on when you first start,
Yeah.
you always get your best photo.
Yes.
Until the more you shoot,
Yeah.
like the best photo gets stretched out even longer and longer and longer the more you shoot.
Yeah.
To the point where like I haven't got a photo I'm 100% happy with in a very, very long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's supposed to be like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So like style and that kind of stuff comes with work, man.
Yeah. So I guess
like
that's sort of like what you shoot, like the content of what you shoot. And then for editing, I think it's just like what you're drawn towards more. So like if you prefer cooler colors or warmer colors, you should always edit it that way rather than like copying someone. Like just think when you move the slider left or right, which one's better in your head. Like just sort of just assess it that way, and then a style will form from that. Just for like if you just do one photo at a time, and a style will sort of form from that, I think.
I like to...
don't look for your style, like it'll come to you naturally, I think. Like,
Yeah, I think
exactly.
all my photos look different in my head, but I think if you look at it as a feed, it kind of looks similar.
Well, like
but
everyone else will be like, oh, you have like this amazing, like consistent styles. Like,
I think because I edit each photo differently.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to be the same.
Right. Even for me, like it's only been recently that I've been editing everything in a similar way.
Right.
So I mean that exercise has been really interesting as well, because I was like you, where I just individually edit a single photo.
Yeah.
But now I throw the same preset on every single photo and then edit it from there.
Yeah.
And it's turning out to be a lot more consistent in that respect.
Okay.
But that in and of itself is an experiment as well, right?
Yeah,
like, you know,
it might not work.
It might not work. You're just playing around with it. Like, you just gotta have fun with it, you know? Like,
yeah,
that kind of deal. It's really interesting, and I think like when you're first starting out, what I tell people the most, especially when it comes to post processing, is like, okay, what is the image and the style you have in your head, and then can you get it out on Lightroom straight away?
Yeah.
Do you know exactly what to do to translate like your mind onto like the actual image?
Yeah, I think I know, because we do it all the time. Like,
right, but if not, then you're not there yet, right? Like until you have like complete mastery over like, I can edit it like this, or I can copy the exact editing style this guy does, or I can copy the exact editing style this guy does.
Yeah.
Until you're at that point of mastery, you shouldn't be worrying about how you like try and perfect your
just
aesthetic.
Have fun with
right?
it and like
have fun with it. Like, you know, learn more and, you know, get to that point.
Yeah.
There's a big gap between when you start and like what's in your mind, the vision in your mind, and what you can actually produce.
Yeah.
But like eventually that kind of closes the gap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was explaining this to my friend the other day as well. Like, you know, you go out, it used to be the case for me anyway, that I'd only ever have one out of every 100 to be a keeper of like what I would shoot, right? But nowadays it's like 1 out of every 5 or 10 shots I could post.
Yes.
Because like the translation between like what is in your mind's eye and what actually comes out at the end is like, it gets better and better and better.
Yeah. I think also, like for me, because I do a lot of Photoshop, I guess you guys not so much, I guess. People ask me how I come up with my ideas and stuff like how do I think that way or whatever. But like it all again comes through practice and like thinking. I mean, the way I learned to think about images and graphics and stuff came from architecture, and so like it's all to do with symmetry and lines. So I'm always thinking in that way.
Yeah.
And so like mirroring something is like I'm already thinking about that when I'm shooting most of the time. So it's just the way you train yourself to think about something.
Right.
And then you need to learn those skills to create that on the computer. So you shoot for it, and then and then a lot of the photos I take go to like my backlog, and then I think about the ideas later on, and then I can do this with this one, and then you kind of bring it back.
How far ahead do you plan your feed? This guy's like,
no, I don't. I plan my feed 3 days, 2 to 3
he plans
days.
It, like because he's working and stuff.
Because I work, so I have to.
But
plan.
how about you?
Yeah, I'm not that much of a planner when it comes to the feed. Yeah. Like only because, if I have a lot of backlog, I'll plan it.
Yeah.
But if I have little backlog like I have right now, and I'm just doing reposts just to like feed the beast for a bit, because realistically that's what we all have to do. Then I am very much like, oh shit, I have to post in half an hour.
Yeah. Which one do you pick?
Yeah.
Do you use like an app that views like a...
Yep.
That
So I use an app called Unum, which my friend Koki,
Unum?
y'all know Koki.
I started using it too here and there.
It's really good, especially if you have like some level of backlog.
Yeah.
Even if you have like 9 images, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's nice
I usually don't have backlog, but I want to see how the next photo looks next to the previous one.
That too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I think I sometimes do stuff for like, I don't know, if Stranger Things comes out or when Game of Thrones comes out, I kind of want to do an edit for that.
Yeah.
And so that kind of gets squeezed into and then that
You can
changes.
rearrange
Yeah.
Mm.
So it's kind of good.
Yesterday you called me at 10 to 9, so we posted at 9, right?
Yeah.
And you're talking to me about something, I can't talk to you, man, I'm trying to edit something up. And like, I was
Ben,
like,
listen to me.
furiously looking for like something to post. And
And then at the end, he was like, I didn't hear anything. I'm just editing. I'm about to post. He's just like, I was like, okay.
do whatever, Demas, just whatever.
And then Lucy goes, Ben seems like he doesn't care. I was like, yeah, I think he's busy.
Or like,
Too close to 9, man.
I posted at like 10 past or 20 past. Or
Yeah,
something,
and you were still late.
so I
Right?
made it. Kinda.
Okay.
Traveling, let's talk about traveling.
Yeah.
Where have you been?
Yeah, where have you been?
Oh,
Japan.
I,
So you like Japan?
I really love Japan.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me
I mean,
too.
I
All
think,
the
I think
three of us
everyone,
love
I think
Japan.
everyone
Oh,
like
love
who
Japan.
follows us knows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So I've been to Japan 7 times.
So crazy.
We did the trip. That trip was good. We did quite a bit. Me,
Mm.
you, TK, and Koki for a bit.
Started last year
Where did we go? We went from Tokyo.
to Nagano,
No, Mount Fuji.
Fuji, and then
Koki met us in Mount Fuji.
yes, and then we went to Nagano.
Yeah.
Then we like gallivanted around the Alps for a while.
Yeah.
Doing like the monkeys and the castles and
Remember when the car started like sliding back on that hill and like well, at the monkey part? Yeah.
yeah.
Koki was driving, he'd step on it and it'd just keep going back. I was like, oh shit.
Why?
Yeah.
Because you guys
Because
were too
the
heavy.
road
Icy.
was really icy.
Oh, right. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was an adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were like gallivanting around in like in the snow and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
and we went on this amazing hike in this like dense single lane forest.
What hike?
Oh, it was like a 2 kilometer walk.
Oh, to the monkey place.
No, to the tall trees, the one. You
Oh
posted
yeah,
the
that
other
was.
day.
It didn't feel like long in my head because it was like all amazing and stuff, but
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
actually quite far.
It was actually quite far.
Yeah.
And yeah, I did that in boosts. You
Yeah.
remember that?
Oh,
with, like,
really?
Yeah, I
he
like
sprayed it
waterproofed
with,
them.
yeah.
Oh, what?
It was like
It was fine.
It was totally fine.
They, like
amazing.
ice is dry.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not wet.
Yeah.
But like you guys were shooting photos along that long stretch, and like me and Koki walked faster to that spot. And as soon as I got there, I had to quickly yell to get you to come quickly because that was the spot. Like
yeah.
there was color there, I guess. Like and,
We were just having so much fun all the way there.
Yeah.
We got to go back. That was a great trip.
yeah,
Because it's like a part of Japan that we you don't normally
Yeah.
see.
it's hard to get to. Like
It's also really
Ryan
hard to get
Mamba
to,
went
and-
there without a car. Yeah, you have to get a bus, and then you have to walk like
Mm.
for like 2 hours or whatever it was.
And Japan's really hard to drive as well. Like finding a car in Japan is usually hard unless you rent one or something, or like
Oh, in
people don't
Tokyo and
usually,
stuff. Like,
yeah,
And it's also really expensive
to
to like
have a car.
to have
Yeah.
a car, to own a car, and then like the tolls are really expensive as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were sleeping in the back. I was in the front seat, right? And like we'd hit the tolls, and it was like $50-$60 a toll, and
Yeah.
like,
What?
that's just one of them.
Yeah.
Holy
That's
crap.
US
They're
dollars
really
as well.
expensive.
Wow.
Yeah, like me and Koki from my not last trip but trip before when
The
we went to Kyushu. We drove that entire time, and so we drove all the way around Kyushu, like literally.
Was
east
it a
to
rental
west.
car?
Yeah,
Yeah,
in
right.
a rental car. So
How many days?
I think it was like 6 or 7 days or something like that.
Right.
So
With the guide as well. The
Yeah.
three of you, right?
yeah. But it was
How
just
awkward
me,
is it
right?
with a guy?
Yeah, it was so awkward.
Yeah,
Like didn't need him obviously.
Yeah.
because
Koki speaks Japanese,
Yes,
right? Like
I felt the same way in Hakone.
oh, you have a guide as well.
Hakuba, sorry, in Hakuba, yeah,
Yeah,
I had a
like-
guide.
Like for context, this was for Visit Japan AU.
yeah. So they have
Ah,
this thing
the
where
tourism board.
yeah, the tourism board have this thing where like
JNTO.
all trips need to be like sanctioned by like an official proper tour guide.
Yeah.
Because then they can give you facts and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
But-
And it's nice.
Japanese people love facts, and
Right.
they have a lot of history in their country, so they want to tell that to people coming in and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, they have like a pass, or like they've studied for it, so
Yeah,
they can actually
yeah.
tell you about the place.
Yeah,
But it's
So, like-
it's very difficult for people like us
Dude,
to
you were driving. Like
Oh,
I had to get her to organize the whole entire day, and she was like stressing out and stuff. Because yeah,
especially when like we want to chase light and
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
we want to
yeah.
organize the places for the time and all that kind of stuff. It's like it's hard, man.
yeah,
And then like we're there for like an hour and we're just shooting, and then the guide would just be standing there like.
That's like
Yeah.
you think about it.
What do I do?
You feel slack for him, but like that's also he's getting paid to just do nothing. So
yeah,
it's like,
and travel a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's not a bad gig, right?
Yeah, nah. You just have to wake up at like 4 a.m. every day with
So-
us.
Yeah, but Craig was driving.
I was driving mostly.
Oh, the guy didn't drive?
Nah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
We had a driver.
Yeah, I drove that trip. I drove the majority of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
What car did you have? Like a
uh,
little family one.
no, it was like a 6-seater. It was a bigger one.
Toyota?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Mitsubishi?
It was probably a Toyota. I can't remember. One of those.
What's your favorite place in Japan? I still haven't done Hokkaido and stuff. You haven't done the north, right?
Yeah, I haven't done the north. I'm gonna do the north at the end of the year. I'm inclined to say Fuji, yeah, but
It's just Fuji though.
it's just Fuji,
Mm.
and I don't know. I guess like I still haven't explored enough of Tokyo. You know, I've been there for months, but still, like Tokyo's huge, man.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I was trying to explain the scale to one of my work friends, and it's like one of their districts is like the size of Sydney.
Yeah.
And they have like 27 districts.
Yeah. But Tokyo is the best. Like, I love
insane.
Tokyo.
I love Tokyo.
You need to explore it with like local people.
Mm.
Yeah.
So like Yuma took us around and stuff, and like I would never go to those places. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't know to go to those
Mm.
places.
Yeah, I think like once you've been there for a little while, you can venture out on your own and start doing like your own explorations and stuff like that. And there's just so much.
Yeah.
It's insane. I love it. And of course, Kyoto's great as well. But I feel like it's not as good as Tokyo in terms of like the places you can see and do things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really good. I mean, all of Japan is great.
Yeah.
I love Japan.
What do you think about Osaka?
Osaka, I just haven't given it enough of a chance. If I'm fair,
I didn't mind Osaka.
I've been there like
I've been
4
there.
times, but I've
It's a
never.
good place to chill, I think, and
Yeah.
like meet friends and that kind of stuff.
I think that kind of vibe, like like hanging out, having beers or whatever, is like it's a good place
I've only
for it.
been there once, and I went to Universal Studios, and it was just fun. Like it was like one of my first times back in Japan. I had a good time.
Mm.
I didn't mind it. It was like a good lead up to Tokyo. It's like a good preparation. you know?
Well, like
Yeah.
if you go
Tokyo.
Tokyo
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Osaka, it's like backwards.
Yeah, but if you get, we started Osaka and then Kyoto, and then Tokyo kind of builds your way up to it. So it was kind of good.
It's like a Sydney Melbourne type thing, but on an extreme level.
Yeah. Get
Yeah.
more turned up.
It's the gap is definitely bigger.
Bigger.
Yeah,
than
yeah,
Sydney
right,
and Melbourne.
right.
like-
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Definitely. But
How was it working with a tourism board?
it was good. JNTO is really good.
Yeah.
Only like the agency that I work with for JNTO they're really nice people, and I've worked with them a bunch of times,
Yeah.
and they're really professional and know what they're doing. You know, working with the tourism board I think is great.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of the listeners all want that, like for a company to send you somewhere to kind of travel and like.
Yeah.
the-
Working with brand, working with companies.
Tourism boards and stuff?
Yeah.
It's
yeah, but I
great.
always tell them like just save up your money and just do it yourself.
Do it
Because,
yourself.
like,
I've only
I
ever
agree.
done one tourism job, I think. One. Or maybe 2.
you got lucky though. They sent you to like Team Lab and stuff, and like
Yeah.
like
It was definitely my style of photography, and I guess
So you
that's,
would've went there
that's why they
anyway.
picked me.
yeah,
Yeah.
You don't always get that lucky though.
Yeah.
like,
Like,
you're on.
I literally
Their
could
itinerary.
pick exactly what I wanted to do.
Well, like
for
I
mine. Yeah.
I went over to this place, right? I was with another Aussie guy, this big Aussie dude from Jesse from Perth.
Yep.
And then on the schedule, I don't know, like they must have accidentally put it in or whatever, because the driver and them had a different schedule. But he took us to this place and we're making like toy dolls, and like this big ass dude, and like this 5-year-old's next to us, and was like, the tour guy was like, hey, let's go. But yeah, it's good to see like other parts of Japan though.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would probably never have gone to Hakuba if I didn't do this trip, and
Yeah.
it was cool. Like,
there's so much of
Yeah.
it to explore.
We should do a snow trip to Japan.
100%.
I don't know how to. Do you know how to board?
do you know how to ski or
No.
snowboard? No, I
we
just
can
do.
learn. You
I
can
do
go
pizza,
over.
and then you just try to go really slow and not fall.
Did you ski last time you?
Nah, I've skied once in
Yeah.
snowy mountains, but I found it really hard. But I heard snowboarding's better.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Snowboarding's great, especially
Yeah.
if you can like skateboard or like
Yeah.
surf. It's pretty natural.
Yep. I don't know how to do any of that.
Damn. Well, we can start on the beginner
Yeah,
slopes.
yeah,
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we should do a snow trip for sure.
So other than Japan, where else have you been to?
Everywhere Southeast Asia, I guess.
Yeah.
But then outside of that, States. I guess the only major place that I haven't been is like anywhere South America or Europe.
New York and stuff.
I haven't been to New York.
Yeah.
You guys go to
I
New York.
need to do New York.
Yeah, I'm
as
doing
well.
New York.
Like, it's
this year,
Tokyo.
pretty keen.
Tokyo and New York are like pretty top 2 for sure.
Mm.
Yeah.
But I'd say Tokyo just, and then it'd be close to New York.
Mm.
You're
Yeah,
going.
I'm going in
Yeah,
October.
yeah.
I'm so
Nice.
excited.
So much architecture and buildings.
That's why Tokyo
Your
and New
jam.
York are the two, you know, like, and also Chicago. I'm really excited for Chicago as well.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good place for architecture.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, you've been to what, India,
Yeah,
Hong
Thailand,
Kong, Thailand, Vietnam.
Yep.
What else?
Singapore.
Singapore, Malaysia,
Korea? Have you been to Korea?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I think I'm gonna go this year.
Okay.
To see Hojay
yeah.
at Hotherside.
Other side.
Shout out Hotherside.
Yeah. So our friend Hojay has been trapped. He's being recruited for the army for like the last almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Actually, 2 years now, August.
Yeah.
I thought it was only 1.5 that is.
Something like that.
1 year, 8 months.
Oh, okay, okay,
And so he's getting out very soon.
okay.
This
So,
month.
Yeah, so start of November I might go see him.
He's not going to be there, has he not
Yeah,
told you?
No, halfway through. He's leaving.
New York.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
Is he coming back to Sydney?
I think he's coming back early next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
But yeah, I definitely want to go to Korea. Korea and China are like surprisingly really high on my list for some reason.
Yeah. China seems kind of cool as well. I want to
Yeah.
go to
China's-
China.
You need a visa and like you need to sort that stuff out. And
Yeah, it's okay.
There's also
It's
VPN
fine.
issues and internet issues. So
yeah, just looking stuff up is like, man, you can't even use Google. Just basic kind of things you get blocked out. But
yeah.
you should try it out. Like I've only been in Shanghai, so I don't think that counts.
Yeah.
It's pretty like progressive. Yeah, you guys, I'm guessing you want to do all the nature kind of spots, like
Everything.
Yeah.
how do you say it?
Jiangji.
Yeah.
Jiangji, and then like obviously I want to go to
place.
I want to go to Beijing, like all the major cities like Beijing, Guangzhou, Shanghai, like
Everyone says
me-
that Beijing, compared to Shanghai, is more like mainland.
yeah,
Like it's rougher.
yeah. I've been there when I was a kid,
Yeah.
but not after like Olympics and stuff like that. It's must changed so much.
Keen to get like the full spectrum of like Chinese culture there, like great.
Yeah.
Like full rural, like give me the hats, give me the animals,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah.
give me the places in the sticks, like
That's
no
that guy's
reception.
the animals and the hats. Like old guy, he's like an Instagram model, bro.
Right, he is now. But then like all the way to the other end of the spectrum, like crazy architecture and the insane technology and lights and all those kind of things. Like
It's not what I thought it was gonna be, for sure. Like I've always had this vision of like mainland China being like kind of rough, but Shanghai's pretty. Yeah, it's a proper city.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah,
Shanghai's
yeah.
nice.
like any other like first world city, right?
A lot of expats there and stuff, right? Like working
yeah,
there. Yeah,
there's quite a few.
yeah.
They just like they like to spit. Yeah, I'm not gonna do it on the
Sure, it's
high
there.
def. But I told you the story of like we were eating at a cafe.
No, you haven't. I don't
We were
think
sitting at
I-
the window, like the window thing, eating
Yep.
a bagel and a coffee.
Yep.
And like it's so quiet in Shanghai because like everyone's on electric scooters
Yep.
to the point that like it's quieter than Sydney, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should adopt it everywhere in Asia.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, like you could hear him like building up his spit from like halfway down the street, and then he kept me and Flo were just looking at him from like left all the way, and then he spat right in front of us on the street. It's
Yeah.
like, oh man.
Why?
But this was like day 7, so it's like
You were used to
it.
it.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
Still, what a jerk.
It's I don't know. It's accepted there, I guess. But
Mm.
it's nasty.
Yuck.
Okay.
I could do without that though.
No, that's China.
Yeah.
They're kind of known for that, I think.
But yeah, keen to explore like Korea, China. I want to do the whole Europe thing as well eventually,
Yeah.
but
So
really
expensive.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I wonder, like, I mean, it's great that you can travel to all those different locations.
Yeah.
like,
Because
really
everything's quite close. Yeah.
Yeah, but like it's so expensive.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
many can you
That's
travel
right.
to really? Like one, and
I
then you have to
think-
come home.
I think we're planning Europe maybe April-ish next year. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
Thinking about it, but yeah.
I'm not gonna do Sakura again.
I want to maybe try a different place.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sakura was super lucky this
Like-
year. I didn't even expect to get it. Like,
Mm.
it was just lucky.
Yeah. Well.
Because I went 2 weeks after you,
Mm-hmm.
and it just bloomed really late.
Mm.
Yeah.
Got lucky indeed.
Yeah.
Global warming.
So
What
Pat,
do you use?
Yeah, what do you shoot on, and like what gear do you usually carry when you're out shooting?
Gear. You
Yeah.
know, I like talking about gear.
Yeah, everyone loves to talk
Everyone
about gear.
likes to talk about gear. So mostly I shoot with 2 bodies, but only because I like the convenience of not switching lenses.
Yep.
That's kind of it. But the 2 bodies I keep with me are A7 III and then A7R3.
Yep.
And then the 2 lenses that I usually keep on those bodies are 16-35 and then 85.
Right.
And that's actually kind of it.
Okay.
So like I only shoot with like mainly 2 focal lengths.
Okay.
Off the side in my pocket, I'll always have my RX 100 with me, which is a 24 to 200.
Yeah.
But I rarely shoot
So
anything
much gear.
past that. Like it's it's essentially just 2 lenses, right?
But that's a lot of gear. Like, I mean, to have 2 bodies,
And a little, like a...
2 lenses, and a
compact camera.
I mean, I think price-wise it gets quite expensive.
Price-wise, it's a lot.
Yeah. But
Actually,
gear-wise,
like,
it's not too
gear-wise,
much.
it's
Yeah.
not a lot.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's actually less than what most people have.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have like 1 body and then like 6 lenses
Yeah.
or like 4 lenses.
I
or
carry 1
whatever.
body and 3 lenses.
Right.
That's, yeah.
So it's like 1 body and 3 lenses is the same as 2 bodies and 2 lenses, right?
Yeah.
Same shit. And then the things that are like completely optional that I have at home that I may take with me depending on like if it's situational or not is 10mm.
Yep.
24, which I actually mostly bring with me because it's
24-70 or 24?
just 24 on 4.
Yep.
It's like it's tiny. It's like smaller than my phone.
Okay.
So I bring it all the time, and then 100-400 with the 2x teleconverter.
Yeah. 2x
Okay.
teleconverter is great.
Why do you need 800?
You know what? I don't know.
The quality, like, I feel like your 400, the quality, the bokeh is kind of weird.
It's
not nice.
It's not even
compared
like,
to like the 200.
Yeah, and at 400 it's like a 5.6.
Yeah.
And you get like the atmospheric kind of hazy.
At 400 there's so much atmosphere for you to deal with.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about doing a long trip like sometime next year. And I'm thinking about just completely ditching tellies just in general, and
They're
just
kind of useful sometimes.
7200
but then-
is useful, I think.
But then I have my RX, right? So then,
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
if you're like for those kind of shots, especially like all I'm looking for is distance. I'm not looking for like bokeh or anything like that.
Yeah.
So when bokeh like doesn't
Like
come
over
into the
100,
equation,
bokeh is fine over 100 mil. Like,
right? So
yeah.
then like my RX is more than fine for that. So I can replace like an entire big ass telly thing with one little thing.
I've considered a 100-400, but that's a bit much. And the lens is huge. But like a 70-200 f4, I've considered that as well.
Yeah, the 7200 f4 is
It's pretty light.
It's
compared to
light but it's still quite big.
But I'd rather carry the 2.8, as in like.
But yeah, if you're gonna compare the two,
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
ratthe carry the 2.8. I
Yeah.
think. But in any case, so yeah, the 2 bodies, 2 lenses. That's my main setup really, and then I got a Mavic 2 Pro with a whole bunch of batteries, and that's kind of it.
Do you use the smart controller?
So I did.
Yep.
But I don't anymore.
Okay.
Just because, like, it's nice. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
experience of flying it.
It
and,
feels so
it's-
like solid.
It
Yeah.
feels solid. It's like it feels great in the hand, and like the screen is so bright and looks great.
Yeah.
But it's heavy, and do you really need it?
Yeah.
Like, how much bag space does it take up, especially when you're traveling a lot, right?
Yeah.
Like, Demas uses the same bag that I use, the Peak Design Everyday Backpack 20.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, like, if you have that in there, you've got another almost 2 kilos to carry.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's pretty heavy.
Okay.
Like, I'm scared of checking bags in now.
Especially camera bags, right?
Dude, like it's 7 kilos is the limit.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
no
never,
one can ever like
especially we have a laptop in there. It's like. Oh,
Well, like, you
man.
add-
Can't ever.
like a smart controller and a normal controller. That's like
It's
800
slightly
grams, 700
yeah.
grams. But that matters like when you're
Yeah.
trying to.
Yeah.
Big time. So when I'm thinking about like, what is the minimum amount of gear that I'm going to carry,
Yeah.
like the smart controller suddenly doesn't make as much sense. Especially like the range difference between the smart controller and like the regular controller is only very little anyway.
Yeah.
But like
Screen's so
it's
nice,
still
though.
good. Yeah.
I think for me,
it's
I
such a
just
nice piece of tech.
Use
Yeah.
the smart controller because I don't want to use my phone. Like I just
Yeah.
want to save the battery on my phone, so it's like you have an extra kind of screen on you,
Mm-mm.
and that's why I use the smart controller.
Yeah.
Mm,
That makes perfect sense too.
Yeah.
I used to use I had a shitty iPhone 6
yeah.
that like I just never got rid of.
Yeah.
And couldn't sell, and now it's like way too late to sell it.
Yeah,
and
I used old phones and stuff are good too.
Yeah, they're great too.
But then you gotta carry an extra phone. It's like,
it's also a pain.
yeah. I don't know. But then I guess like I don't know. Another question we could ask you is like, does gear matter? Like,
Yeah.
Careful what you say.
no, I'm saying,
Well,
I'm saying like, for a beginner or for someone who's already expert. Like, I guess someone who's already expert should know this answer. I guess.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll just talk to the beginners.
Well, even like beginners and it's the mindset thing just in general.
Yeah.
And that doesn't matter like whether you're experienced or not. But
Yeah.
you know, for me, like whenever I get asked this question, I always say yes, it matters.
Yep.
But
Okay.
it matters because, and not in the way you think it does. But
That's always the answer.
it matters because, when people say does gear matter, what they're actually talking about is, does it matter for my motivation to go shoot?
Yep. Okay.
Right? Like, what someone's actually asking is like, do I need the motivation to go shoot with whatever camera I have at that given point in time?
Yeah.
Or is it that like my creative vision isn't served by the gear that I already own?
Yeah.
Right. So, I think gear matters in terms of like executing a creative vision.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't get a 10mm smartphone shot, for example. You can't get an 85-1.4 bokeh in portrait mode equivalent for like a smartphone, right?
Yeah.
They're not the same.
Yeah.
So gear matters, right? But then like the motivation for whether someone should actually go out and shoot with the thing that they've got is a different matter altogether than the actual gear and the quality of the craft.
I guess people
right?
are just like comparing, which brand is better? Like, I guess in terms of that kind of stuff, I feel like everything's kind of caught up. And
they're asking you because they like your style.
Yeah.
And they want to achieve what you can do with your camera.
Yeah.
So in that regard, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
I feel like mostly anyway.
In that regard, it's kind of like, does it matter if you drive a Ferrari or like a Camry if you're getting from point A to point B? No.
Yeah, I guess so.
Right?
Yeah.
You're going to get there regardless.
Yeah.
Whether or not
I'll get there
you
faster.
right.
You can
right.
get an Uber,
But
bro.
like the speed is your creative control and your creative difference, right? Like, but you're still ultimately getting there in the same way.
Yep.
So in that respect, no, gear doesn't matter. But in every other respect, yes, it does.
Yeah. Okay.
You have to say yes because you have so much gear. No, it doesn't matter.
I mean, we all of us have a lot of gear, right? And we all like gear. So I couldn't say.
But I
that
guess
it
like
doesn't,
when I think about it, if someone goes to me, would you rather shoot on a Canon or a Sony? For me, I personally like to shoot on a Sony because I've grown up with that system and
the shitty menus and the.
I know it better. I know it better. Like
like when it comes to brand loyalty, I think that's kind of dumb.
Yeah.
And we always talk about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And
We spoke about last week about how they've pit us against each other, like Sony owners versus like Canon users, and
yeah. But I mean, if someone put a Canon in my hand, I think I can still use it.
100%.
Like, it's not like I'm just gonna throw it in the bin. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna keep. If it's a great camera, it's still a great camera.
Yeah, and it all comes down to the person, right?
Yeah.
I think for me personally, this comes back to my love of tech, and I'm always about tech loyalty.
Yeah.
What company is doing the best thing that suits me in the best way possible? And for me, that's Sony. But
I was talking to Sark about this, right? I reckon Sony is like a tech camera brand for like tech lovers.
maybe it is.
Feels like that way.
Maybe it is, right? Like
All the bells and whistles and like.
Yeah, the brand loyalty thing is dumb. It's look at whatever the market is doing, and find the thing that works best for you. Like and
But the thing with cameras is that like
it's an investment.
no, like you're not gonna buy like 3 different bodies of like Sony, So
well,
once you have to kind of pick one.
but you might, and some people do.
Yeah, I started
right?
on a
Like,
Canon,
Yeah,
and
but
then
do you own any Canon gear at the moment?
I don't anymore. But when I started, I picked the Canon, and then I did a bit of research. I'm like, the Sonys are full frame and they're smaller, so I'm gonna try.
Switching brands is fine, but what I mean is like you can't like have a Sony camera and a Canon. Like it doesn't really make too much financial sense.
But
I have a
depends what your
Fuji.
needs
I have
are.
a Fuji like a point and shoot, but like I rarely use it, and it's meant to.
a lot of people who have Sony Canon lenses on a Sony body just use that Metabones, but like it still works for them.
Yeah.
Someone,
Yeah.
And you're using 2 cameras right now, right? 2 competing brands. Like it all varies on like whatever your use case is. I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't own 2 like photography bodies. Just doesn't make sense.
So yesterday we asked you guys some questions to ask Pat, and let's go through some of these questions.
Let's do it.
So YCP430 asks, do you think photographers should show real world photos without color grading?
No.
Same.
Like
same. I
straight
agree.
up no. I think like for your artistic vision and for like
But depends though.
Photojournals and stuff.
Yes,
Still-
photojournal. If photojournalists still edit, but I'm saying like if you're an artist and a creative, you want to show your creativity. Yeah.
Right. Even as a photojournalist, I think like like when you're shooting in RAW, that in and of itself doesn't necessarily depict the scene as it actually was anyway.
Yep.
So you still need to edit that to a point of realism, right?
Yep.
So regardless of like what genre you're actually shooting in, you should always be editing, because like the output of whatever you're editing is like the true essence of what you're trying to say.
Yep.
So like the answer is flat out like you should be editing.
Okay.
in my perspective anyway.
Well, I mean, some people see colors differently,
Mm.
right?
Trying to say.
No, I'm saying like
We edited
Slight-
the first
Slight
episode,
plug.
and then like I color graded and stuff, and then
my
I sent
lips
it
were
to-
so pink because it was flat, and Ben can't see pink, and I was
I can see
like,
pink.
Ben,
Like,
why is my lips so pink? And Liz is just like,
It's
so-
because like I have a tan from.
similar.
Yeah, you were really pale in that one. Anyway, next question. I'll ask one. Phil Tiona, did you meet Demas in a GNS event? How did you guys start to connect and collaborate?
Yeah, so we covered this before.
Yeah.
I attended one of their workshops. So Demas and Gareth, who's a good friend of ours, had a workshop for Global Night Squad. We did a night workshop, and then kind of just
Yeah, I think
took it from there.
most people that came to that workshop, like, I still keep in contact with. Like, this, I think there was, who else was there? There was a few
There
others.
was a few others.
But like, I think we connected the most out of everyone, and we still kept in contact and we became friends. We started going on road trips. We started traveling together,
Yeah.
and that sort of just happened. I think, like, not everyone will click with everyone, so you just have to find the right people that you want to click with and
Put yourself out there, and
Yeah.
it ends up being the more people you meet, the more people potentially you can click with.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
I think it's important to find like-minded creatives to go shoot with and stuff.
yeah,
That's helped us out a lot.
yeah,
Like
So-
we bounce stuff off each other all the time. Like
Yeah.
it's really
yeah. It's a good way to like feedback system.
Mm.
It's sort of also it comes to another point where like a lot of people ask us, I guess, to like give feedback on their work,
Mm.
and I find that really hard to do because I don't know them,
Mm.
and if I say something, I might offend them, and I feel really bad, and I don't know what their intention is for this photo.
Mm.
I don't know, whereas like
there's a lot
us,
missing.
we know exactly like what
You
you're
know,
doing.
how to piss this guy off? Like have the horizon like slightly off, or like the line slightly off.
Yeah.
What do you think about this, Demas?
You're like, "Ah,
Just do it in your photos, and he'll know. He'll
This
know.
thing's not in the middle.
We were doing the cover art for this podcast, and he was like back
Bro.
and forth like 5 times. He's like, move it down a bit. And it was like, got there. man.
Classic.
Okay, Life of Diego asks, do you ever get tired of shooting and instead embrace the moment?
I thought about this for a long time.
Creative fatigue. That's
I think it's more like, do you just put down the camera and enjoy the scene
Yeah.
kind of thing?
I think
Yeah.
for me, like, I don't see those two things as like being separate,
Mm.
and I know that's like kind of unconventional, but like I kind of see like me documenting that experience in that moment of time, actually enjoying that experience in that moment of time too.
Yeah, but I mean, if you want to, you could just put it down and like
Exactly.
look at it and enjoy it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And if I'm done shooting, then I will. Like
Yeah.
I remember this one time, I think it was like a year and a half ago when a few of us were in Tasmania, and there was this like crazy, stupidly insane sunset with like some of the most vivid colors I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I remember that.
yeah,
Like,
I
by a lake
remember
or
seeing
something.
those stories.
Yeah, and we
Good
shot
photo here.
right, and we shot for like I don't know half an hour. And it lasted for like a good hour, and after a while, we're just like, you know what, it's still going.
Yeah.
But like,
We've already all got all our
right?
shots.
And then we
yeah.
just sat down and enjoyed it, and it was the best thing ever.
Yeah.
But I think you can have your cake and eat it too when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah, I think so. You could be enjoying the scene while you're shooting it. You
Hmm.
could do a lot. Yeah.
And I don't think like you taking photos of that experience like lessens that experience in any way.
Mm.
You know.
Sometimes it does.
Well, for me, like I enjoyed the documentation part of it, and
Yeah.
like I find a lot of joy in documenting something like that.
Yeah.
So that adds to my experience rather than taking away from it. But like, if something's completely detrimental to
One
that
clear cut example is people filming concerts and stuff. Like you're never gonna watch those videos again.
Yeah.
It's like you're just wasting your time filming, or like fireworks. It's like you're never gonna watch that again. Like,
Yeah.
right,
But I mean, that's just like, I guess that's just society today, right? They just want to film everything and take photos of everything. Like,
remember everything.
I guess for us, we know
What's our
these
job and we
things.
get paid for it?
Which
That's
I'm like when there's like a fireworks, if I'm not working, I'm just gonna watch it.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna enjoy it.
Yeah. Plus our workflow is
You're gonna
very
content create for sure.
No, I mean like if the last few years I have been shooting fireworks for like Sydney and stuff, so I am working. But if I wasn't, like I would probably just record like one story and then just that's it.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, like our workflows are like we've done it so much that we're very quick with it, right? Like we
know what
we
you
wanna
want.
Shoot. Yeah. Shoot it. Done.
Yeah, I kind
Hang
of
out.
stress out a little bit if it's a job because I want to be like I want to cover all angles and like get all the shots. Then you kind of stress out a little bit more. Do you have a question, Ben?
Some of them are kind of silly.
Yeah, let's ask some silly ones.
Oh, come on.
Okay, that's funny. That's funny.
Wait,
That one's funny.
Billy Mothra. Which one are you gonna ask?
That one.
Who do you think would win in a fight, Ben or Demas? Okay.
Demas because he works out a lot more
Does he
than
work
you.
out? I think I'd be scruffy. Demas would be all nice and shit though.
Bro, you don't know me.
He plays basketball all the time and stuff. He'll cardio you, man.
Just have to sack whack him once and like drop him.
Bro.
Lee Lane. What's the best ramen shop in Sydney?
Oh, I'm currently actually like
One. Don't give me more than one answer.
okay.
One.
So my favorite right now.
Yep.
Was Gumchara, but actually is now Menya in Chinatown recently. Only because the value
Menya
is
again?
so good.
Which one in China? The one next to Pepper Lunch?
No,
No,
so
that's not
in
ramen, that's
Chinatown.
sorry.
You know that classic, and everyone else won't know this, but like you know that classic like that duck shop
Yep.
that people take photos of next to
Haymarket.
Yeah, next to Haymarket and Market
Mario's
City.
favorite shop.
And then there's like a kind of like food courty type thing right next to that
Yeah.
up the road. It's
Oh,
it's
yeah,
menu.
What, Eating World? Are you talking about
It's
Eating
like
World?
it's on a slope and there's like you can see the windows through the slope. Yeah.
Because Menya is the one like under One
There's a
Market
few.
Street.
There's a few.
There's a couple.
Right, okay.
But this part, I go to this particular one because it's like really far away from the office, so I can enjoy my walk down there.
Yeah.
But the value and the taste is great.
Okay.
It's like, yeah.
I think for me it's Manpuku. Either in Kingsford or Chatswood.
Yeah.
I like Manpuku. What about you?
It's good.
Ramen? I don't really have a favorite in Sydney. It's Ichiran, like just in general.
Ichiran's in Japan, bro.
And in Hong Kong, and it's a chain, but I think
Nah, Ichiran's probably the best, but we're telling you in Sydney.
Sydney. I don't know.
You know, Sydney does ramen really well.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of it's okay. I used to like Yasuka, but
Yeah.
they've changed. It feels like they've changed owners.
It's quite thick. Yasa.
Dude, like
for
when
me,
you-
Yasaka's a bit too
When you
thick,
walk
but
on the floors,
it's so
it's
sticky.
Yeah.
Oh my
but
god.
like
Experience
when we
is a bit
first
there.
met there, it was like slippery as hell, and then like now it's sticky. So it's like,
Yeah.
what are they doing?
Yeah. Gumchara was my favorite though. Thick as. I loved it. So good.
You were so close to the office too.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, kind of one block away.
enough. Yeah.
Dalton Jepson Art asks, what would be the drone to recommend for beginner drone photographers?
There's only one.
Yeah, there's only
Yeah.
one. I mean, like, I wouldn't recommend the Mavic Air. We did the campaign
Yeah.
for that, and like, it's okay, but you quickly grow out of it.
Yep.
So like,
It is a beginner drone, but
Wait, so
It is beginner
by the
drone.
one, do you mean Mavic Pro
Mavic
1
2
or
Pro.
Mavic Pro 2?
sorry,
but like,
Mavic Air, and then buy the Mavic 2 Pro.
but I guess for a
Oh,
beginner, like I guess
there's
let's
only
say
one.
let's say
There
they
is
don't want to
only one.
invest that much money or whatever.
Don't
like,
buy a drone.
Yeah, I would actually, exactly that.
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
save up the money to get
that
Mavic
one,
2
yeah.
Pro,
Yeah,
'cause
that's
then
it.
Like
you go into it.
your Spark, it's fine for like doing kind of
dude.
beginner stuff,
Okay, yeah.
but it doesn't inspire confidence.
right?
Yeah.
And like I think that's the most important part of a drone.
Flying.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You need that confidence and you need that.
That it's
Yeah.
just
Safety.
gonna do its job.
Yeah.
Like Mavic 2 Pro, I've flown it, probably illegal, but like
Don't.
it wasn't in Australia. But like, at one stage, like 6 kilometers from where I was, with like almost full reception.
Yeah,
and, like,
yeah, yeah.
100% confidence that I
Yeah.
was actually going to get it back.
Yeah.
So-
That's really far. 6 kilometers, bro.
Right.
You just need to worry about battery levels.
That's
Yeah.
all you need to worry about.
Yeah.
And for you to have like a drone where that's the only confidence metric that you're
Yeah.
actually worrying about,
Yeah.
that's what you want.
But also sometimes if it's too windy, then that's also another confidence metric.
Yeah.
But I
100%.
guess the Mavic
need-
2 is probably one of the best ones in the wind.
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
need to
Yeah.
find that level of like confidence against wind. So like I've flown in windy conditions and this, and I'll like launch it and stuff.
Yeah.
And like
There's
you need to find that level where like you're trying to come
You
back,
know, yeah.
where you're trying to fly it back and it doesn't move because
Yeah.
the wind's so strong.
Mm-mm.
SJK Media.
Okay.
What drives your creativity?
a
the
lot
likes.
of things. Yeah, a lot of things. Like for me right now, it's actually all about business, and like this idea of being free.
Yeah.
Is something that I'm working on, and especially for me, like this idea of getting my photography and my creativity to the level where, you know, it is already kind of there. I could do it full time if I wanted to.
Yeah.
But, you know, just being able to make a living out of doing what I want to do, and I think this idea of freedom is what drives it mostly. For me.
Okay.
But yeah, creativity, like that's just one vector. I think like there's a lot of things, a lot of different things at play, but creativity specifically in the things that I make, I think it's just
Stuff you like.
yeah, it's just naturally like innate. I don't think it ever goes away. Or not for me anyway.
I think this kind of segues to like, what are your future plans, and if there's anything you want to plug, because we're kind of about to wrap up.
Yeah. So future plans for me is, I mean, I've got a couple of trips lined up for the rest of the year, but I'm planning something big for next year. Doing something that's a little bit longer.
Okay.
You know, might go away for a year or something like that, and just travel to some different countries and go experience the world a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been planning that for a while and like saving up and stuff like that. So, yeah, but no solid announcements just yet for that.
Okay. Anything you want to plug? Like
Plug.
anything coming out, or where people can find you, I guess?
Yeah, so I just released a new book, a photography guide to Tokyo. So you can find that at my website, packade.com/shop.
Links in the description.
Yep. Come read my blog, /blog.
K.com/blog. Yeah.
Yep. And that's kind of it.
Awesome.
At Pat_K.
Yep. On Instagram.
Awesome.
Nice. Thanks for being on the podcast.
Thank
No
you,
worries.
Pat. So if you guys want to see future videos or past videos, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave a comment and a like. That would be awesome. You can also hear the audio on SoundCloud and iTunes.
Yeah. If you have any questions, you should leave it in the comments below, and Pat's going to answer them all. Too late.
Yes.
You said yes already.
Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you at the next one. Bye.